Just moments ago, Governor Greg Abbott responded to dozens of Texas House Democrats leaving the state with the goal of preventing that chamber from being able to conduct any business. We'll get to his response in just a moment, but first, the Texas House was set to take a vote tomorrow on a bill to redraw the congressional district map, potentially creating 5 more districts for Republicans. In this exclusive video, our crew was there to catch Democratic lawmakers get on a private plane to leave the state. Now, KVUE has a team coverage tonight. Isabella Basco is in the studio gathering reaction from right here in Austin. But let's begin with senior reporter Tony Ploheski, who's in Chicago, where Texas Democrats just wrapped up a press conference with the governor of Illinois.
Those Texas House Democrats arrived here in Chicago Sunday evening after taking that flight from Austin. This has been an outcome that has been on the table for weeks as Texas Republicans have moved closer to that highly partisan and highly charged effort to redraw the district maps. Now, once they got here to the Chicago area, they were greeted by Illinois Democrats as well as the governor for the state.
Let's be clear, this is not just rigging the system in Texas. It's about rigging the system against the rights of all Americans for years to come. Now, Texas Republicans submitted to the president's orders and took steps to advance Trump's Texas takeover. And while Texas Democrats have been trying to work across the aisle to deliver disaster relief after the devastating floods in central Texas, Republicans chose to use the tragedy as political cover to cheat.
We hope to learn more on Monday about their plans while they are here, as well as efforts by other Republicans in the state of Texas to bring them back to Texas to continue the legislative session and whether or not that is logistically or legally possible. Reporting from Chicago, I'm Tony Ploheski, KVUE News.
And during that news conference in Illinois, former Texas House Democrat Caucus Chair Chris Turner mentioned some members also went to New York and Massachusetts today. We're hearing that some Democrats may have stayed behind here in Texas, but more than 50 left, which is enough to break quorum. There are 150 members in the Texas House of Representatives, and you need 2/3 to have a quorum. That's 100 members. So right now, the House is made up of 88 Republicans and 62 Democrats. So if all of the Republicans and 12 Democrats are at the Capitol tomorrow afternoon when the House meets, there will be a quorum. If they are not, the chamber won't be able to conduct any business. Now let's get right to KVUE's Isabella Basco. Isabella, talk to us more about the message Texas Democrats were sending tonight.
Well, Darenisha, Democrats left Texas tonight and partnered with the Democratic Party of DuPage County in Illinois to make it clear that they are not here to play political games and they want to end what they call a corrupt process. Now, Democrats flew out of Austin around 5:15 tonight from a private terminal at Austin's airport. House Speaker Dustin Burrows posted on X, the House will convene at 3 p.m. tomorrow, and if a quorum isn't present then, all options will be on the table. But Texas House Democratic Caucus Chair Jean Wu insists they left the state to protect the people of Texas and is blasting Republican efforts to, quote, disenfranchise Texans. Representative Wu saying this new map creates 24 districts that are majority white, 2 more than the current map. But Republicans reject this, saying this proposed map would not suppress voters of color.
The tool they're using is a racist, gerrymandered map. A map that seeks to use racial lines to divide hard-working communities who have spent decades building up their power and strengthening their voices. And Governor Abbott is doing this in submission to Donald Trump, so that Donald Trump could steal these communities' power and voice.
Now, this isn't the first time Texas politicians cross state lines over policy. In 2021, Democratic lawmakers left the state to go to the nation's capital to block a bill over the state's election code. But that bill eventually passed.
This is not 2021. The world that we're living in today is vastly different. The threats to not only our state, but to our entire country, but to the very concept of what America is, this is a different day.
Now, Wu says they don't know what the next steps are and are trying to take this day by day. Now, he went on to tell the media he'll let everyone know of what their plans are in the morning. Live in studio, Isabella Basco for KVUE News.
Isabella, thank you. And just into our newsroom, Governor Greg Abbott issued a statement about the Democrats leaving, saying those lawmakers are abdicating their duties. He wrote in part, quote, "Every session, legislators on both sides of the aisle find themselves on the losing side of a legislative vote. And every session, most of those legislators find a way to disagree agreeably and behave like adults rather than going AWOL," end quote. He also says if those Democrats are not in the chamber tomorrow, he will move to remove missing Democrats from their seats and fill the vacancies. And earlier today on KVUE News at 5:30, KVUE's Ashley Goodo spoke to Scott Braddock from Harvey Kronberg's Quorum report. He breaks down the new fines lawmakers are going to be faced with now that they've left the state.
It's $500 a day from personal funds. You do the math on that real quick. It's $15,000 per month per member for them to not be here in Austin and to be somewhere else to prevent the House from doing business. That's serious cash. Even some of the more wealthy members, I will say, said that is pretty steep. And there are some members of the House.
Personal cash, you said.
Personal cash. There are members. People think that all politicians are wealthy. I happen to know of one member who does not even have cable at home. So yeah, it's expensive, for them to do this. So they're going to need the support of national Democrats, which I do believe that they're getting. According to my reporting, there are several, billionaire national Democratic donors who are stepping up and assuring these legislators that they're going to have what they need financially to sustain this. And we
Braddock says it's going to be a $4.5 to $5 million commitment from those national donors. The proposed map of the new congressional districts that sparked all of this controversy was filed in the Texas House on Wednesday. KVUE's political director, Ashley Goodo, breaks down what the changes look like between the current map and the proposed map.
This is the current map and the proposed map. And we heard from the state lawmaker behind the map. He essentially dismissed the argument that redistricting is in response to the DOJ letter, saying Republicans are doing this for partisan gain, and that's completely legal. Political observers note that the changes to the map are likely to turn 5 Democratic districts into Republican districts, which is what the president asked Texas to do. And that includes 1 district in our area. So let's zoom in to take a closer look at the Austin area. This is currently what we're talking about, and we want to focus in on districts 35 and 37. 37 represented by Lloyd Doggett, 35 by Congressman Greg Casar. If you come over and see what happens, you see that District 37 starts to encompass all of the Austin area, and largely what was Greg Casar's district gets pushed in to District 27, which is represented right now by Republican Michael Cloud. And this is a large district. We're talking about putting parts of Austin all the way into a district that stretches down to Victoria. So that is an interesting move. If we talk about what's going on in North Texas, the DFW area, we have 2 districts here, 33 and 32, that you want to pay attention to. When you come over to this map, you can see that basically 33 and 32 are combined, and then that section of 32 then gets moved a little bit further north to more rural areas. That would knock out Representative Julie Johnson, who is a Republican. 2 potential flips would happen in the Rio Grande Valley, and that's for the districts 28 and 34. They are currently held by Henry Cuellar and Vicente Gonzalez. Each of these, under the proposed maps, each of these districts would extend north a little bit, and they would extend north just enough to include counties that went for President Donald Trump in the last election, significantly went for him, and so that would be the changes there. The last area we want to talk about is the Houston area, where districts 9, 18 and 29 are what come into play. So District 9, which right now is represented by Al Green, really would become District 18. District 29, which is represented by Sylvia Garcia, includes the old 18, right, and some of 29. And then District 9, which was the late State Representative Sylvester Turner's, not state, U.S. Representative Sylvester Turner's district, would move out further east. And so that then moves into what presumably would be Republican territory.